Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. We've previously done a couple of videos about the keel blocks, or videos that talk about them, but overwhelmingly, the question we've gotten is, what type of wood are the caps on top of the keel block made out of? And the answer is D, all of the above. We haven't talked about this in previous videos because while talking to various yard workers, they would say, oh yeah, we cut up oak and put it on there, or oh yeah, we cut up pine and put it on there, or even the caps are actually steel, not wood. And so because we had multiple different answers, we didn't feel like we had a correct enough answer to answer the question in a video. However, talking to Phil Giles, the dock master, he told us that, yeah, it's all of those types of materials are on the caps. So we're going to talk about that very briefly today's video, and that'll answer probably a pretty common question that you guys have had. So, the blocks themselves are made out of concrete. However, you can see that they have a wooden base on them, which means they can be slid around the concrete dry dock without damaging the dry dock or the blocks significantly. We don't want this wooden base crushing down the way we want the cap to crush, and we definitely don't want it wearing unevenly to knock the blocks off kilter. So that has a hardwood base, in this case oak. Likewise, for the caps, we don't want direct concrete on steel abrasion. The concrete's very rough, it would damage the freshly painted part of the ship when we bumper. We don't want that. Plus, many ships have shapes to their bottom. The Iowa class are relatively flat bottomed, and so our blocks are almost exclusively flat like this, but you want to be able to modify the heights of these blocks and the shapes of these blocks to match the shape of the bottom of the ship. So you want a material that's cheap, reusable, and not going to abrade the hull of the ship. So that's why you're using the wood caps. This block right here appears to be entirely hardwood. It's got 3 blocks of oak here. This one is not designed to crush that much. Over here, it looks like we got a block of wood and then 2 half-inch chunks of steel. This one also isn't supposed to crush that much. So here at the stern of the ship, where there are only 2 rows of blocks instead of the 5 rows you see amidships, and because you've got a significant amount of weight at this point of the ship, these blocks are not designed to crush that much, as you can tell by the materials they're made out of. However, as we walk forward, you can see that this block is designed to crush. It's got several sheets of plywood here, and it's got this soft wood, which I believe is pine that they're using in the middle. So you've got oak on the bottom, you got oak on the top, but then you've got softwood between the plywood and the pine right here. So that is able to crush down. Notice the blocks are held together both by plywood nailed into it and by these metal straps, just to keep the wood from floating off of the blocks and floating away, or separating as we're bumping the ship or as we were initially bringing her in. Another cool thing about the mix of hardwood and softwood is that if we need to remove this block to do repairs under it, that's relatively simple. You can use the pressure washer to just blast out the softwood. That'll be destroyed much easier than the hardwood around it. And once that's gone, the hardwood on top can just come down, the whole block can be pulled out. The hardwood components can be reused between ships, especially if it's ships of the same class, so you don't have to cut out an entirely new shape. Phil was telling me a really cool story about how their Boston yard currently has a series of the high-speed vessels, the catamaran aluminum-hulled ships in there, that have really complex curves on their hulls. So they incorporate that curve into the lower section, the hardwood part of the blocks, and then the top part that crushes and is disposable could just be gotten rid of between sister ships and replaced, and you don't have to do any complex cutting. The cuts are down here on the part that's saved. If it was World War II, and this yard was building and maintaining several Iowa-class battleships as it did, you might have a set of blocks like this just permanently set up for the Iowa class so that you could just bring it out and set the new ship down on it whenever you needed to. Since we're the first Iowa class battleship that's been in this dry dock in, something like 70 years? No, 68 to 2024. Since we're the first Iowa class battleship that's been in this yard in about 55 years, since her 1968 reactivation for Vietnam, it makes sense that they do not already have blocks cut for this. The ship's blocking plan specifies exactly what materials these caps are supposed to be made out of. Because like I was saying earlier, it does differ between the different areas around the ship. And it's also worth pointing out that since these aren't designed to last a long period of time, they're specifically here to be worn away by the ship's weight crushing down on them. They are not using really treated wood, pressure treated, or stuff that's been seasoned. It's green wood off the shelves, use it, destroy it, get a new set for your next ship, because it's going to have a completely different hull shape than an Iowa class battleship. If you have questions about how you paint the area where the ship is sitting, or other aspects of this dry docking project, check out our dry docking playlist. We've already answered that question over there. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, subscribing so more people find about us and our channel. Thanks for watching.